Welcome to the show, everybody. Glad you're here. Now, on the show today, we're going to be talking about great customer service.
Oh, does that even exist much anymore?
We're going to talk about that. And then relationships with hairdressers. I don't go to a hairdresser. I go to a barber, but that's got to be your segment.
It's a Joyce story, but okay, it will relate to men as well.
Yeah, I'll chime in like I always do, of course. And then one of our favorite workouts, take about an hour, and we're totally hot and sweaty when we're finished.
Really? I really want to keep this at least PG because I want all ages to listen.
Hey, this will be PG-13, but hey, I don't know. We probably do it 3 times a week. I would like to do it more, but you don't want. Yeah, but you don't want to, so I don't know why. But I guess we'll talk about that when we get to it.
We will, yeah.
So let's just dive into this. So great customer service. I mean, who doesn't love great customer service? I think everybody does. And people say all the time I just had this conversation the other day. Mm-hmm. Somebody's like, well, do we even need great customer service? Do we still want great customer service?
Absolutely.
And I think what happened was as the economy and prices got very competitive, companies got very competitive, so pricing went down. Mm-hmm. So everybody wants a good price, right?
Yeah.
And so what companies are saying that people want good price over good service. So when they lowered the price, they couldn't give the good service anymore.
I love good service, though. I want both.
Right. I do. I want both, too. However, I'm willing to pay for good service.
Yes.
I know we are. I mean, look, that's why the Ritz-Carlton is still in business. Now, it's not cheap to stay at a Ritz. Mm-hmm. However, you're going to get better customer service than you would at the Ramada Inn or Holiday Inn Express.
5-star treatment.
Sorry, not that those aren't great hotels, but they're 3 stars or they're 2-star hotels, right? Mm-hmm. They're not 4 and they're definitely not 5. So I don't know. I don't mind paying for a 5-star hotel. In fact, I know a lot of times when we travel, we're like, hey, when we travel, we're going to do that.
Yeah, if that's important to you, yeah, absolutely.
So let's talk. So does it seem like there's more and more great customer service is almost non-existent? We talked about that. Some companies are using emails as a way to communicate.
That just really bugs me. Now that everyone's using like so much technology, it's really hard to actually call and get a physical person on the line. You're searching through the website. Where's the number?
Well, how many companies don't even have a number?
Exactly.
Or they hide it?
Absolutely. There's a few companies that I know that I've dealt with that there's not a number. You just have to, talk via email. And
I don't know. That seems weird because maybe we're a little bit older than the 20-year-olds or the 30-year-olds. But they're used to just, I guess, sending an email and not talking to somebody. I like to pick up the phone and call somebody.
I do too.
I like to have a conversation. I want to hear what they're saying. I want them to explain why they're doing something or why they're not doing something. And you just don't get that anymore.
But what goes along with, I think, good customer service is when you call a place, when you actually can talk to someone that you can understand them. Nothing is worse than asking 2 or 3 times, excuse me, what did you say?
Right.
Because I know a lot of call centers now are overseas. So right. I really appreciate, when I get someone on the phone that's helpful, cheerful.
Oh, wait. So what about the person that's overseas that's cheerful and excited, but you can't understand them?
I mean, it just doesn't make for a very good experience. It frustrates me when I can't understand. I'm like, here, you talk to him.
I know, you've had me the phone. You're better at listening to people than I am or understanding them.
Not listening, but understanding.
But that's what I tell you, is you have to really listen in order to understand. So that's what I mean. I'm a better listener.
Maybe I just need to listen a little better. I don't know.
Well, you have to focus on every single word. Because if not, you're right. You don't hear what they're saying. You're like, this is confusing. Here, you take it. And so, again, it goes back to dollars, right? Mm-hmm. Economics. Companies are trying to save money by going overseas. That's fine. But make sure that the customer service people you use speak proper English. Because I'll be honest with you, a lot of people get frustrated with that.
They do.
And just don't want to do business. Now, I have to talk about a company I absolutely love. In fact, we do our podcast via Zoom.
Yes.
I run my business on Zoom.
You love Zoom.
I do.
It's your best friend.
I do. It's you're my best friend.
Thanks,
but Zoom, I don't know if Zoom's my best friend, but it's one of my definitely best tools that I use for the business. But I love coaching on it. I love talking to potential clients and existing clients on it. But, I had a new client the other day, and sometimes it's tricky for people to get on Zoom, not because it's hard, because they're just not used to technology at all.
Exactly.
This particular individual was, older and not used to technology. And so we were able to get him to a certain point, and then I was like, well, what about this? He's like, I don't know. And so I said, let's just get Zoom on the phone. So I literally called Zoom. It rang 3 times. I got a message, I got a recorded message, and they said, we'll be right with you. And literally I waited 2 minutes. They were on.
Awesome.
And I was like, hey, is there any way you can help us, through this? He's like, yeah, let me pop right on. And he was on our call video-wise.
Wow.
We shared the screen. He fixed the person's computer on the other end. And literally in like 5 minutes or less, we got everything fixed.
And that was a good experience.
Oh, it was phenomenal. Yeah. I mean, first of all, I called somebody that the phone rang.
They didn't call you back.
They didn't call me back. Later. I didn't have to leave a message. Yeah. I literally waited maybe 3 minutes tops from the time I called to the time somebody was helping me, right? The guy fixed the problem immediately, and I got to see him, which was amazing. Not only just talk to him, but I got to see him.
Good experience overall.
And then it got resolved. And then, by the way, then they sent me an email wanting to make sure everything was handled correctly. And, how was my experience? I know a lot of companies do that, but man, I give them a raving review because Zoom is amazing.
Yeah, that was a good experience. Yeah. And you've had a few other good experiences with Zoom for overall. I think that you just. Yeah.
And as a professional speaker and doing training coaching, I think a lot of speaker colleagues that I have, we use Zoom. We used to use Skype, and Skype is good, but I don't know, it's a little finicky, and Zoom has better ways to, this isn't a promotion for Zoom, but it kind of sounds like it. Hey, maybe we should get them
paid by Zoom.
Well, maybe we should get them as a sponsor, but I mean, they have a way to, I don't know, compress the bandwidth and evenly distribute it so that you don't get the downtime. You don't get I remember like I'd be on Skype and, 5 minutes into it, then it would kick somebody off, or it was
frustrating.
Just, yeah. So I just don't have that problem with Zoom. So anyways, highly recommend Zoom because A, their product works great. B, very reasonable. I mean, extremely reasonable price. And C, great customer service. And again, Zoom, I'm not saying to do this, but you could raise your prices because your product's that good, your customer service that good, I would pay more.
Well, that's good. That's a great plug for Zoom. But you know what? It was a great experience.
And how many times do you hear me say I'd pay more for something? Yeah. Not all the time. Yeah. Usually it's like, I think we're getting ripped off on that or something. So then I was going to let's talk about the pest control. So we use this service. They come every 3 months. And the guy that comes, we call him the ninja
guy, because he's in and out. We're like, whoa, is he gone?
Wow.
The bill's at the front door.
Yeah, I mean, he leaves the bill. Yeah. But I mean, it's like 5 minutes, and he sprays our house inside an hour.
I don't even know if it's 5 minutes.
And he uses organic spray. For those of you that want to know, we eat organic as much as we can. I guess we control our bugs. I don't want to say kill our bugs with organic spray. I don't even know if that makes sense. It don't even sounds right.
It helps us though for
breathing in and that kind of stuff, right? So we have it do limited inside, and I use the powerful stuff outside. Yeah. But we've been having this guy for over a year come in, and like we said, we call him the ninja as a joke. And I don't know. One time, it was like 5 months ago, a supervisor came. And he sprayed our garage door and on the ground and all these things that the other guy never did. And he took 15 minutes to do the entire house inside and out. We're like, wow. So it made me feel like I wasn't getting the service I was paying for.
Yeah, because the supervisor really had attention to detail, and you felt like you were getting your money's worth. Because,
Correct. Well, then the other day we had this young kid show up. And I guess you had a conversation with them saying that in our patio, in our rafters, we had spiders and different things.
Spider webs.
And that's all you said.
Yeah.
Well, I saw the guy come, and he didn't even knock on the door. We knew he was coming at a particular time. He hopped the fence himself, and he started taking this long pole and started going up and down the rafters. I'm like, is there spray in there? Is he?
Because we'd never seen that before.
Right, I've never seen that. And it was 10 minutes went by, and he's still getting all, and what I realized was it was a device to get the cobwebs out and get the spider webs out and get the spiders out. It had nothing to do with spraying. And then he went through our lawn furniture and our barbecue and our plants and
we got the full treatment
and I'm like, he took 15 minutes just getting it, prepping it. And then I said, and now if he goes back and sprays, I'm going to be totally impressed. Yep. 2 minutes later, he went back there and sprayed everything. I'm like, amazing. So again, It went from okay customer service to really good customer service to amazing customer service. In fact, I felt like I was getting more than my money's worth.
Todd was like, maybe I should tip the guy. Man,
I did. You wouldn't let me. You were like, well,
you know, I feel like we pay enough for the service. But he really did do a good, thorough job. And he was nice and pleasant. And, you know, it was a great experience. So we love talking about great experiences, not only bad, but we love.
Exactly. So I have a rule. I'm the first one that if I'm in a restaurant, hotel, resort, whatever, if I have a bad experience, I'm going to talk to a manager.
Yeah.
Because A, I want them to know it so they can correct it. And B,
exactly.
I think I should sometimes, not all the time, be compensated for it if it's a big enough deal, right?
Yeah.
And so, but I have this rule that if I have something amazing happen or I have great service, I have to take just as much time to get the manager over and explain how great the customer service was.
Absolutely. And you can just tell that the waiters and waitresses and managers are not used to that.
Oh, yeah.
And because they always think it's okay that the manager, you want to talk to my manager, they think that something,
bad. Something went wrong. Well, you remember, I don't know if you remember, we were at the resort Pelican Hill, which is one of our favorite places by the Irvine Company. Here we go, talking about the Irvine Company. Well, by the way, Irvine Company owns everything in Newport Beach. So you can't throw a rock without hitting an Irvine Company.
Exactly.
But
we love you.
So we're at the resort, Pelican Hill. And now listen, they're known for their weddings. Their weddings start at $400,000 for a wedding all the way up to millions, right? And so it was packed. They had a multi-million-dollar wedding going on. And what I mean by packed is valet was hopping. There was 20 cars deep just to valet park, buses, 18-wheelers everywhere. I mean, this was millions of dollar wedding, right? So think about it. Their company's stressed out. The employees are stressed out. They're just trying to get people moved in and out of valet. And, I pull up and the guy greeted me really nice like they normally do.
Yeah.
Asked me for my name. I said, Novaks. Okay, Mr. Novak. And he looked in the back seat and he saw that my jacket was hanging up. He literally opened the door, grabbed the jacket like you were buying a jacket in a men's suit store. You men that are listening understand this, that, they hold the jacket open, for you, and you slip one arm in and you slip the other arm in, where guys aren't used to getting that kind of treatment unless somebody buy a suit. And this guy did that for me. And I thought, first of all, he's got no business doing this, being as busy as he is, right? He should be stressed. He should be stressed out. He should be trying to, but no, I had this great experience. So I said, look, when we leave, we're going to talk to the general manager.
Exactly.
So on the way out, we made a real point to say, can I talk to a manager? And of course, they're running around like something went wrong. And I went through the story I just shared with you guys. And they were like, thank you so much for sharing that story. And they were really appreciative of it. So again, here I am talking about resort at Pelican Hill. I probably told that story 24 times because I was so impressed.
But it just made an impression on you.
Right. But think of the advertising value that they're getting by doing something above extraordinary, crazy good customer service than just doing average or what's expected.
Especially when they're swamped busy like that, they're not cutting corners.
Exactly. So that's my little, quick take on customer service. So obviously,
many other stories.
Obviously, if you have a business, you can't give enough customer service. In fact, this, the old saying is, tell them you're going to do this for them and then exceed their expectations, right? What is it? Under promise, over deliver. Right? Under promise, over deliver. So it's a great saying. Let's under promise, but I think you should still promise really good, but then way over deliver.
Yeah,
so,
over the top.
Over the top. So anyways, that's what we like to do for our clients. We're always looking for ways to be extraordinary and be better. And, we constantly are looking to do that. I mean, we're not perfect. We're not exactly where we want to be. And so, we're always looking at edges and different things that we can do.
Looking for ways to improve.
Exactly. So I'm going to kick it over to you because here comes your hairdresser story that you want to talk about.
Well, this is part about, we talk about relationships, and ladies will probably relate to this maybe a little more than men. I don't know. Maybe some of the men might really relate to it as well. But, with the hairdresser, when you find the right hairdresser, it's awesome. And, someone that you
Well, it's that way with barbers too. I mean, we find a good barber. I mean, anyone can cut our hair, but we do like certain people. So we're the same. We just don't like to admit it.
Exactly. I mean, myself, I go every 4 weeks, and sometimes I'm in the chair for 2.5 hours. So you really build a relationship.
Wow, that's a long time to get your hair cut.
It's more than a cut, okay, honey? Sometimes it's highlights and color. And,
okay.
You know.
I was like, wow, 4 weeks, 2.5 hours.
Really,
okay.
you thought that I just got my hair trimmed? Every
No,
time
I'm just playing with you. I figured you did a lot of different things.
You know everything.
Who knows what goes on those hairdressers? So.
I know, so you build a relationship with your hairdresser. And I was going to the same lady for 3 years. And we got along great. We had a lot of laughs. We connected. I really liked how she, did my hair. I was always happy. And so,
yeah, in fact, I think you even gave her gifts every once in a while, too.
I did.
In fact, we had some brand new Rams jersey. We're not Rams fans, by the way. I mean, I know we're supposed to be because we're near LA, but we're not. Okay. We're Raider fans because, from Northern California, I got to stay true to my.
I'm a Raider fan by default.
Yeah, and then that's awesome. And I appreciate that. But so we had these brand new, we were at an event. They were giving away these brand new, I think really it's golf, nice. GOFF, the quarterback, brand new golf jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
They were like $150 NFL jerseys, and they were just sitting in our closet. And so I said, hey, why don't you give it to them if they're Ram fans? And so I think they were pretty excited about it, right?
They were very excited, but I think the Rams had a really horrible season, so I don't know.
I know last year they did really well.
Did they?
Okay. Yeah, they're expected to do extremely well this year.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope not. I hope our Raiders kick their butt.
So anyway, back to the story. I was, I set up my appointments via text. That was our way of communicating. And so I sent her a text, hey, do you have next week available? And she immediately came back with, I've retired from behind the chair and I moved to Austin, Texas.
Retired? She's like, what, in her 30s?
She's in her 40s.
Okay, 40s, okay.
Moved to Austin, Texas. I was like, what? I didn't see that coming. I had no idea. I think my heart just
you were pretty stressed out after that call.
I felt like it was a breakup. I was.
Well, according to you, it was a breakup.
It was traumatic. I was like, oh my gosh, who's gonna do my hair now? And so who
am I gonna spend 2.5 hours with every 4 weeks
and
now?
enjoy their company and actually right. my hair. And so anyway, she referred me to the lady in the salon that had a chair next to her.
Yeah.
So I was kind of hesitant, because I had seen the lady in there before. I was like, I don't know if that's someone that I would connect with. And so I'm like, but I really had no other options. I didn't have anybody else in mind. So I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot. So I reached out to her. She was super nice.
And by the way, you were getting some, good pricing too, which that played a little role into it because, you don't want to get ripped off when you get your hair done. Because by the way,
it's expensive,
you ladies, you guys pay a lot more than we do. Okay.
We sure do.
And so, we were like, in Newport Beach, you can pay, even more money here. And so, we were like, not concerned, but we're like, hey, we'd like to keep the same pricing. And I think you had to remind the new one, like once or twice about what you were paying. So that was kind of made you feel a little uncomfortable and felt like, well, I shouldn't have to do this. But you're like, okay.
Not really. She was actually really good about keeping track of it. So
nice.
That wasn't an issue, but she no,
that's fine. You're talking about the hairdresser, the new one,
mm-hmm.
and that you actually liked her better.
Oh,
but you were very concerned at first, or you were nervous, and then why did that change?
Exactly. So I went to my first appointment, didn't know what to expect, and it went really well. And I've actually gone back to her 4 or 5 times, and I actually like her better. And she connects.
Which, by the way, that's what I told you. I was like, hey, give her a shot. You might even like her better.
Yeah.
Because I know you.
Do you like my hair? I just got it done.
And it does. It looks really amazing.
Yeah, thanks. So,
but what does she do that's so amazing? Because that's what we want to talk about was you were telling me the other day what this new lady does that's amazing.
Well, just one of the things that she does that's amazing is she really builds relationships with her clients.
What does that mean?
Like, I'll go in and we'll have our conversation, right? And then when I go back the next time, she remembers at least one thing that we talked about. She'll be like, oh, how was your trip to Dallas? And I'll be like, yeah, it was great. And I'm kind of taken back each time because she remembers our conversations before.
Right,
so she's
right.
really listening. I think that's
But didn't
important.
you say you brought that up to her, or she was talking about that to somebody else about a guy that, she knew, and the guy's always like amazed, like
that she
how
remembers,
she remembers, right? But you told me, but remember, what did you say that was so?
She just said that she makes it a point to listen to people, because she thinks it's really important, because a lot of people don't listen. They're just like waiting to start talking and they're really not like listening. And she does that.
Well, I say human nature is this: when someone's talking to you, human nature is they trigger something in your mind or your brain that you want to talk about. So, and you don't want to, and you don't want to forget about it. So you start thinking about what you're going to say when they stop talking.
Exactly.
But in order to do that, what happens?
You're not listening.
You have to stop listening to them. So that's human nature. So when I teach listening skills, I'm like, hey, look, you got to write down your thought, the thing that you're going to say, and then put the pen down and listen. Because if not, your brain's going to be focusing on what you're going to say, and then you're stopped engaging, you stop listening, and you have to train your brain because it's so easy just to get off on wait. And basically, what you're really waiting to do is that person stop talking so that you can say,
I'm not listening to you.
So, right. So that you can say what you want to say, because you know what you're going to say is way more important than what they're saying.
Yeah.
Well,
which is not true.
It's not true, but that's what you think.
Yeah.
Rather than just sit there and let them talk.
It's a skill. Listening is a skill for sure.
Well, people aren't born great listeners. You have to learn to be a great listener. And it takes a lot of practice.
It really does.
And by the way, for those of you that are married, little tip, especially for the guys, become a great listener and you'll have a great marriage, because it's proven fact that women talk about 25,000 words a day and men talk about 11,000. So
in our marriage, I think it's the other way around.
No, it might be a little different, but reality is women typically talk more than twice as men.
Yeah,
or they talk in circles, as they say. Like women, like you'll say, hey, how was the store? You went to the grocery store. It's like, oh my gosh, you won't believe it. I pulled into the parking lot, and then the person didn't put the shopping cart where they were supposed to. So then I had to take the dirty shopping cart and go into the store. And then I was looking for, and then I forgot what I was looking for. And then I had to think about that. Then I ran to Susie. Susie was there. And then Susie was telling me about, and then you go through this whole long thing, right?
Yeah.
And then guys would say, you'd ask the
guy,
checked out, you're like, did you, or you would say, if your wife would say, hey, did you get that at the store? I'd say, yeah, I got it. It's good.
Yeah.
I mean, they're done with the conversation where a woman's going to talk in
more
circles.
of a story, details.
Yeah. Which is fine. Yeah. It's entertaining.
That's for sure.
All right. So enough about your hairdresser? Is that?
Yeah. I just, it's one of those relationships that, I think women have. And, if you have to switch hairdressers, it could be a good thing. Like with me, I think I'm happier now. So yeah, it all worked out.
And let's face it, you can always find another one. There's tons of them, and, ask people for referrals. And, my old trick used to be I'd find somebody's hair that I liked, and then you ask them where they get their hair done.
Exactly.
Because obviously if you like their hair, the person they're going to could probably make your hair look good.
Yeah. So just shout out to my hairdresser. I love you and appreciate you.
Wow. Okay. Hey, maybe if she was sponsoring this, we could actually name her. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So share one of our favorite workouts we talked about at the beginning. So
the one where you said we do it 3 times a week and sweat heavily.
I'd like to do it more than that, but you just want to do it 3 times a week.
Yeah.
So for those of you that are wondering what that is, it's hot yoga. Okay. Some of you might have been thinking some other things, but it's hot yoga. We've been doing it almost 3 years now. A little shout out to Radiant Hot Yoga here in Newport Beach, California. That's where we go. In fact, I think they had at the time the youngest yoga instructor in the United States called Skylar. I think she's 14 years old. She was a licensed yoga instructor. So her mom
maybe younger than 14.
That was 14. Maybe it was 13. I think it was 14. But her mom and 2 daughters actually run the business. They have 2 locations. And so, hey, it's great that, it's a women-owned business, single parents. She's doing a great job. And, it's one of our favorite places to go. So hot yoga, why hot yoga? Well, hey, it's a great detox. First of all, why are you in a room over 100 degrees at first? Crazy. Doesn't make sense.
I think the first couple of times we just wanted to run out.
Oh yeah. Your brain says, get out. What are you doing? You're an idiot. What are you doing in a hot room? And then you're going to do yoga on top of it. Yeah. But what happens is after about a month or 2, you're like, this is amazing because you detox, you sweat. Yeah. We call it Detox Monday because whatever you ate or drank or whatever over the weekend.
You sweat it out Monday morning.
You sweat it all out Monday morning. So,
it's great for metabolism, burning calories. It increases blood flow, just amazing benefits. So we really enjoy it. That's one of our favorite exercise routines.
Yeah. Yes. And we do it together. We do hot yoga together. We work together. We do everything together. Yeah. So it's just another thing that Novaks do together. In fact, that's what they do. Oh, the Novaks are here.
I love you.
Why is that?
We do everything together.
Oh, okay.
And I have fun.
Okay.
Most of the time.
Most of the time we do. No. So, hey, that's hot yoga. We do that. I think it's awesome. And I think that's enough about hot yoga. I mean, bottom line is you need to do it. You haven't tried it. I mean, there is what we call warm yoga, which is like 92 degrees. And so
we like it hot, 105, 106.
Yeah, we say that, and then we cry like little babies sometimes. We're in the room. Open the door. Open the door. Because it's like, you never, I mean, my big joke is I can do anything when the door is open. But when it's closed, you just feel like you're breathing hard. But I will say one last thing about hot yoga. Okay. We do a thing called sculpt, and that is kicks you in the butt. So think about this. You're in a hot room over 100 degrees. You're doing yoga moves, but now you're using weights. And you're doing, you're getting these big, I'd show you my biceps.
I use the baby weights.
but yeah, I like the big guys that come in like really bodybuilder guys and they get the big weights. And then like halfway through, they're dropping the weights. They're not using any weights at all because it's so hard in a hot room to use a lot of weights. Exactly.
But so it's a great workout.
But go try it. And if you could do it with your spouse, your girlfriend, fiance, whatever, boyfriend.
Great couples exercise. You'll sweat a lot.
Exactly.
You can do it 3 times a week too.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, that's Tod and Joyce Novak on with the Novaks. This kind of concludes, this podcast. Hey, listen, go to On with the Novaks. So actually, you can't go to it. You can actually send us an email. Soon we'll have a webpage you can go to. But onwiththenovaks@gmail.com. So our announcer at the end here will tell you a little bit more about that. But hey, like we like to say, go make it happen.
Make it happen.